Hello, children. I hope you are all happy and safe. Welcome to this special English hour. Here, every day, we will learn something new in a fun and interesting way. So, are you ready to have fun? Then come, let's start today's day with a fun quiz. Children, now I would like to start off with a quiz. Are you ready? I would like to ask you a few questions and please be alert and be quick to answer. Okay? Come, let's begin. My first question is, who was the first Indian to travel to space? Any guesses? It was Mr. Rakesh Sharma. Next question. Who was the first woman to join the Indian Police Service? Yes, it was Miss Kiran Bedi. Next question. Who was the first woman to be a doctor in India? Miss Anandibai Joshi and Miss Kadimbini Ganguly were the first women who became doctors in India. Now I would like to ask you the last question. Who was the first woman to be the President of India? Yes, it was Miss Pratibha Patil. Children, I hope you all enjoyed this quiz. Children, I would like to speak with you today about vocations. Do you know what vocation means? Before we discuss it, let's do a small activity. It will help us understand vocations better. In this activity, you will see a figure on your screen. In this figure, as you can see in the center, it is written means of living. Whichever words you find that are associated with means of living, please write them in the circles surrounding the central circle. There is a bank of words given to you at the bottom of the screen. Please refer to it. Take a few seconds and try to note this down. Children, I hope you were able to find words related to means of living. Come, let me share the ones I found with you. Business, job, vocation, employment, entertainment, trade, hobby, mission, profession. Children, as you can see on your screen, all these words are related to means of living. A means of living is a vocation that helps us earn some money to sustain ourselves by practicing or using a skill that we all are educated or trained in. Children, I hope you liked the activity we just did and it helped you collect your thoughts on what a vocation is, what a means of living is. Children, can you name a few professions? Teachers, doctors, singers, dancers, lawyers, writers. These are some of the professions that I can name. What is a profession? A profession is an occupation that requires people to do a specialized training course. It is people who have specialized education and training in a certain field that are allowed to practice it. For example, doctors. Doctors work and study very hard for quite a few years, after which they are allowed to practice. The same also goes for teachers. They have a course that is well decided for a few years, and it's only after that that they can practice teaching. Children, can you name some professions or vocations that according to you are very important for society? Some vocations that are important to society are those that are practiced by hawkers, gardeners, sanitation workers, security personnel. These people make sure that our society stays clean and safe. So, would you like to know a little more about their vocations? Then come, let's read further. Children, while learning a language, it is very important that we keep learning new words. So today, I will share with you a few words, and I would request you to please listen to me carefully and note them down in your notebook. We will come across these words in the passage that we are going to read today. The first word is gong. 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 The second word is hawker. 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 The third word is crystal. 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 The fourth word is chasing. 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 The fifth word is giant. 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 Let me repeat the words once again for you. Gong, hawker, crystal, chasing, and giant. Children, please look out for these words in the passage that we are going to read today and try to guess their meaning. Children, so far we discussed a lot about various vocations. Come, let's read a passage to learn a bit more about it. If you have a textbook, please open page number 27. We will be reading Vocation, written by Rabindranath Tagore. Please point to the words as I read. And if you don't have a textbook, please watch your TV screen and listen to me carefully. Children, come, let's read the passage now. Vocation. When the gong sounds 10 in the morning and I walk to school by our lane, every day I meet the hawker crying, "Bangles, crystal bangles." There is nothing to hurry him on. There is no road he must take, no place he must go to, no time when he must come home. I wish I were a hawker. Spending my day in the road, crying, bangles, crystal bangles. When at 4 in the afternoon I come back from the school. Children, who has written this passage? Yes, Rabindranath Tagore has written this passage. What does Rabindranath Tagore tell us in this passage? Yes, he tells us that at 10 o'clock, when the gong sounds, a gong is a flat metal bell. I'm sure you all must have seen it at school. When the gong sounds at 10, Rabindranath Tagore walks towards school. On his way to school, he sees a hawker. He observes the hawker very closely. Rabindranath Tagore says that the hawker goes around in any lane that he likes. He stops at any place he likes. No one stops him from going in any lane or from standing in any place. He can go wherever he wants and sell his wares. He says, the hawker calls out loudly, bangles, crystal bangles. And there is no fixed time for the hawker. He can come anytime, he can leave anytime. Rabindranath Tagore is very amused with what the hawker does. He wishes that after school gets over at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he also can be a hawker and go around in the lanes and shout, bangles, crystal bangles. Children, come, let's read further. I can see through the gate that house, the gardener digging the ground. He does what he likes with his spade. He soils his clothes with dust. Nobody takes him to task. If he gets baked in the sun or gets wet, I wish I were a gardener digging away at the garden with nobody to stop me from digging. Just as it gets dark in the evening and my mother sends me to bed. Who does Rabindranath Tagore see through his gate? Rabindranath Tagore sees the gardener of the opposite house working in the garden through his gate. What is the gardener doing? The gardener is happily working in his garden. He uses the spade to dig the soil. Spade is a tool used to dig soil. While digging the soil, the gardener soils his clothes. The gardener also works in the heat of the day and also when it rains. Rabindranath Tagore is very amused with this. He says that the gardener soils his clothes with mud. He gets baked in the sun all day. He gets wet in the rain. But there is no one to take him to task. To take to task means to scold or to correct. Rabindranath Tagore feels his mother would surely take him to task if she saw his clothes soiled or that he was playing all day in the sun or if he got wet in the rain. So, Rabindranath Tagore wishes to be a gardener. Children, come, let's read further. I can see through my open window, the watchman walking up and down. The lane is dark and lonely, and the street lamp stands like a giant with one red eye in its head. The watchman swings his lantern and walks with his shadow at his side, and never once goes to bed in his life. I wish I were a watchman, walking the street all night, chasing the shadows with my lantern. Rabindranath Tagore. Late in the evening, what does Rabindranath's mother do? Late in the evening, Rabindranath's mother puts him to bed. What does he see through his bedroom window? He sees a watchman in the lane. The watchman walks up and down the dark and lonely lane. He also sees a big street lamp that looks like a giant with one red eye. What does the watchman have in his hand? The watchman has a lantern in his hand which he swings, and he walks along with his shadow. So what thought does Rabindra have looking at the watchman? After seeing the watchman every night like this, Rabindranath also wants to be a watchman. He says, I will chase away all the shadows with my lantern. In this passage, Vocations, Rabindranath Tagore shares with us about the vocation of a hawker who is a bangle seller, a gardener and a watchman. Rabindranath Tagore observes the job of all these three men very closely. He looks at them with the eyes of a child, and he thinks that as a child, usually there are restrictions from parents and elders. Don't go out running around in the streets. Don't shout. Don't soil your clothes while playing in the mud. Don't play too much in the sun or in the rain. Don't go out at night. Go to sleep early. And when Rabindranath sees all these different people practicing different vocations with no restrictions on them, he also feels with the heart of a child to be a hawker, to go around in the streets and sell bangles. He wants to be a gardener, soil his clothes and have fun in the heat of the sun and in the rain. As a watchman, he wants to go out at night in the streets and chase away all the shadows with his lantern. So we see that in the passage, Rabindranath Tagore shares the innocent wishes of a child and also gives us information about these three vocations. So children, I hope you like this passage. Children, let's do an activity now. We read a wonderful passage, and in that we learned lots of new words and phrases. Now I would like us to do an activity where we revise the meaning of words and phrases. So children, let us have a look at a few sentences. In the sentences, we will have a word or a phrase that is underlined. We will also have a bank of words and phrases with meanings of the words and phrases that are underlined in the sentence. Try to find the meaning of the words or phrases underlined in the sentence in the bank given. Let me give you one example. Nobody takes him to task. Takes him to task is the phrase that is underlined. What is the meaning of takes him to task? The meaning is nobody scolds and corrects him. Children, let's do another fun activity now. We learned about different vocations today. Now, let's play a little game where I give you a hint about a vocation and you have to guess which vocation or profession it is. Would you like to give it a try? Come, let's begin. In which profession you pretend to be someone else? Hint, you see them on the television. Yes, they are actors. In which profession you need scissors? Hint, mostly we go to them to change our look, maybe for a haircut. Beautician. In which profession would you run into a burning building? Hint, we call them when there is a fire. Firefighter. In which profession you would clean people's teeth? Hint, we visit them when we have a toothache. Dental hygienist. In which profession is it our duty to maintain the nation's defense? Hint, they protect our nation and keep everyone safe. Military personnel. Children, I hope you all like this activity. Children, let's do a fun activity now. In this activity, I would like to ask you a few questions and I would like to know what your opinion is. So if you agree with what I say, please give a thumbs up. What will you give? A thumbs up. And if you don't agree with what I say, please give a thumbs down. Okay? Come, let's begin with our first question. Children, when you get a phone call and the person on the line does not tell you who he or she is, do you think you should inform where your parents are? That's right. We must not inform unknown people about the whereabouts of our own parents. It may be information that's very important and may be given out to a stranger. So, we must not share with anyone about the whereabouts of our parents unless we know who that person is. Okay, now let me ask you a second question. Without checking who is at the door, should we directly open the door? No, that's right. We must not open the door without being sure or without peeping through the peephole that who is there at our door. Okay, now let me ask you a third question. Do you think we should fidget with the electricity points? Try to insert a stick or a finger into it? No, That is not right. We may get an electric shock or we may be hurt with the same. We may injure our finger. Let me ask you the last question. Do you think it's important to help our family and friends? Yes, I'm sure you all are showing your thumbs up. Yes, very much important. We all need to help our family and friends. Children, I hope you all enjoyed today's session. I would now request you all to please make some time and write down a little about the profession that you like and that you would want to pursue when you grow up. You can take the help and advice of friends and family members. Children, I would like to end today's session with a quote. Dream big, stay positive, work hard, and achieve your dream. Children, till we meet next time, please take care, bye bye, and stay safe.